Modern gaming. Games have been coming out for a long time at this point, with the first ever game coming out in the late 50s. Over time, games have evolved to have better writing, better characters, and better graphics. And as time goes on, you would expect companies to keep improving on every single front, and especially because of how much money some of these companies are making. A perfect example of this would be Red Dead Redemption 2, in my opinion, which honestly has the best story I have ever played in a game. And that game made a shit ton of money because they spent a shit ton of money, but actually cared about making a good game. Normally, good game equals a shit ton of money, and a shit ton of money should normally equal a good game. And depending on the size of the company and the amount of money that's actually spent on the game, a game can qualify to be a AAA game. And if you don't know what a AAA game is a high budget, high profile games that are typically produced and just distributed by large, well-known publishers. A game that fits this category is Multiversus. Multiversus is literally the epitome of a cash grab. Multiversus initially released in July of 2022. It was a free-to-play platform fighter game using Warner Bros. Characters, which includes all of DC, all of Cartoon Network, Scooby-Doo, Rick and Morty, and many, many, many more. So you would think with all the money that Warner Bros. Has and all the characters that they have on their catalog that they would be able to make a good game. And you would be completely wrong. They somehow managed to make the worst feeling and looking game I have seen in a long time. Like, look at what they did to Tom and Jerry, dude. Like, I don't even know, like, how the fuck do you do that? Literally, I don't even know how you can make the characters look that bad. But I think what has to be the most embarrassing thing about this game is that it released as a beta, but a beta with a battle pass and an item shop already in the game. But in my opinion, the worst part is that a year after release, they unreleased the game to quote work on the game. But in May of 2024, the game fully released and added basically nothing. I think they added maybe a couple more maps. I think they added like the Joker and some other character. I don't know. They added barely anything. In 2 whole years, they honestly added nothing. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to my next game so this doesn't turn into a Multiversus rant. Call of Duty. I know this is more of a franchise, but the recent CODs are exactly the fucking same, and I might as well bundle it all into one. In my opinion, when Modern Warfare 2019 came out, it's honestly when it all went to shit in my opinion. They wanted to be Fortnite so bad. They had a battle pass, a item shop, and a battle royale. I feel like new CODs are honestly just really sad looking, not really new any sort of content that isn't just like a new bundle, just nothing. If you look at a game like Black Ops 3, the maps are so vibrant and fun, and then you look at something like Call of Duty Shark Guard, honestly, and it's just gray. It's literally just like a gray, depressing looking game. And yes, I know Black Ops 6 is supposed to come out at the end of this year, but honestly, I imagine it's going to be just as disappointing as Cold War, which I myself vouched for, saying it was going to be good because it was made by Treyarch instead of the other people. And I convinced 4 of my friends to spend $60 on a game that we dropped 3 days later. Next game. Fortnite isn't awful by any means. It's definitely nowhere near what it used to be, but it's just how much they have fallen and how much like they have changed everything. They have changed the gaming industry completely. Fortnite is literally the reason why these huge companies make games now. They saw the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars Epic Games made from Fortnite, even though the game was free. Like, making hundreds of millions of dollars on a free game was kind of unheard of until this point. And over time, it's just gotten so repetitive. Fortnite, as well as other games' content at this point, is just collabs. They don't update their game anywhere near as much as they used to, and I don't think there has been a Fortnite season in like the last 4 years that hasn't had like some sort of collab character to do with that season, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Marvel, whether it's anime, Dragon Ball Z, like a bunch of, they just do collabs with everyone at this point. And I think that a lot of new multiplayer games are just void of creativity just because of this. They saw kind of what Fortnite did, but they didn't fully implement what they did. They didn't update the game. They released paid for content, essentially, that you can't really earn, that you just have to spend money on. And this next game that I'm going to talk about is honestly disappointing to talk about. Helldivers 2 was extremely promising for me. It wasn't really a new idea, but the execution of that idea, in my opinion, was just done so well. The game had honestly a bunch of issues in the beginning, whether it was crashing, whether it was the extremely long loading times. I legitimately sat in a queue for 5 real life hours, and I honestly had no grit when I played the game for the first time. The game seemed like cinematic, the way the explosions were and how the game was played. It just seemed like you were playing in a freaking war movie or something. It was just refreshing to have a game that was only $40 instead of the new normal $70, and you could just grind to get everything in the game and not have to spend money if you don't want to. But then it happened. Sony shot themselves in the foot when they announced that they would make it a requirement for you to connect your PSN account. And if you didn't have a PSN account, you would have to make an account to be able to play the game. In certain countries, you're not allowed to have a PSN account, which means if you don't have a PSN account, you can't play the freaking game that you spent your hard-earned money to play. I looked at Helldivers on Steam one day. The reviews were down in the dumps. The game was review bombed, rightfully so, and they reversed the policy. It was honestly too little, too late. I hadn't played the game in a while because I feel like they hadn't really updated anything other than just a new, the whatever their freaking version of a battle pass is. There wasn't new creatures to fight, and honestly fighting the same creatures for 4 months straight got kind of boring. The momentum of the game just was completely lost, and it was honestly very sad to see because of how high my hopes were for the game. And then Sony, in all honesty, basically just put the nail in the coffin. There is a lot of other games that I could talk about right now that are probably worse than every single game that I've talked about. I just wanted to talk about them because I find it kind of funny. Games like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Starfield, the Gollum game, and Rise of Kong, and there's definitely many, many more. But that's all the shit talk I have in me for today. If you do like this style of content for me, then please let me know in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.